Hi, today I'm going to show you how to make an authentic Ghanaian meal. I'm going to show you how to make banku. For those who have stores around their areas that sell the fermented corn dough, you can go ahead and buy it and follow the instructions as well. But for those of us who do not have the stores close by, you can start off with 12 ounces of fine white corn meal. I have 2 cups of warm water that I'm going to put this in. And stir this all around. I would let this stay overnight until it's for 2 nights to create a bit of a fermented taste. So I'll put this away. Because I don't have the actual corn dough, we often get the corn dough by soaking real corn in water for about 3 days, taking off the water and milling it in the grinding mill. But because I don't have that, I'm going to improvise. This corn flour is too fine. So after having done this, I have another 2 cups of warm water here that I'm going to use corn meal. This is a bit grainy, and I think you can get a corn flour and corn meal in most grocery stores. So I'm just going to this a big bag. I'm just going to pour 2 cups in here and equally mix with my hands. Because it's the same corn, there was no point in me washing my hands. So after having mixed it this way, I'm going to cover it up and set it aside for 2 days for it to ferment before I continue with the banku process. In preparing the banku, you need a stirring stick. But if you do not have a stirring stick and have the littles around here, that should be fine. But I prefer to use a stirring stick. I actually began the process of making the banku 2 days ago by fermenting fine white corn flour and corn meal. It looks like I didn't add enough water to the corn meal, so the top is kind of hard. So I'm going to scrape that away. So if you are going by my instructions, instead of 2 cups, you can use 3 cups for the 2 cups of flour. So I'm going to use about half of this. This is a very difficult corn meal. It sticks together, and as such, you have to be smart about what you need to do. So I'll break this into pieces. My hands are pre-washed, and pour in all the fine corn flour that I fermented some days earlier, and stir it all up. This corn meal is too lumpy, so if you don't break up the lumps, your banku is going to get all lumpy. We are not fortunate to have the corn dough here. If you have the corn dough in the Ghanaian stores there, make use of it. So I'll continue mixing until I get a smooth texture. Because the mixture of the corn meal and the corn flour that I fermented some days ago, the mixture doesn't give you a very nice banku. So what I'm about to do is to add some grated cassava, but we do not have grated cassava in the stores around here. So what I did was to go buy the frozen cassava and then grated it myself. There's always something in the middle of the cassava that is advisable for you to take out, some fibrous tissue. This one wasn't done well, so you can just cut in like this and throw it out. Then you grate the cassava. Okay, so after grating the cassava, I will be blending it to add to the, I've left some chunks in it. I'll cut up the chunks. And I'll put this in. This about a cup of the grated cassava. But depending on how much banku you are making, all this could change. If you have a big home, you need to add some more of that. I'm using 4 cups of water here. I'll add about half a cup. And I'll blend this to get a smoother texture. I'm going to pour this into the mixture that I made, making sure that there are no bigger lumps of the cassava in it. I think I got some too that I'll throw away. And into this, I'll add some more water. The secret about making banku and kenkey and all that is that when you are starting off the banku, you have to make sure you don't have a thick dough mixed here. If it's too thick, it's going to be very hard for you to stir around. So don't make it too watery, or else it's going to get too light at the end. It's good to have a great consistency so that at the end, if you need extra water, then it's easier for you to add a little at a time to get the consistency of the banku that you want. So this is fine to me. Some people add salt to their banku, but I'm not going to do that. So if you like to add salt to it, go ahead and add about half a teaspoon of salt, and that should be fine. So I'm going to put this on fire here and increase up the heat. If you want, you can stir this constantly, but I'm not going to do that. The lazy way of doing it around here is I'll just cover it and let it cook for a while. But the remaining water from the 4 cups of water, I'm going to heat this up for 5 minutes so that when I need to add extra water into the banku, I do that. What I forgot to tell you is that cassava is known as yuca here, so in North America here. So if you go to the store and tell somebody you need cassava, sometimes they have no clue, but if you say you need yuca, then they're able to get it for you. So I'm going to put this remainder back into the freezer. Some stores actually have the grated one, so you can ask for the grated one or the whole one. So I think it's about time for me to stir. So at this stage you see that the banku is forming and it's getting to be much thicker, but because of the cassava you've added in, it's gonna make your life much easier here. So I'll stir a little bit and then cover again. I'll continue doing that until I get a thick ball. I have the hot water that I heated in the microwave that I'll be using as the need arises. But right now, see, it's getting thicker. So if I were not to make this as light as I did, it would have been very hard to stir. When in Africa you use a tripod with some metal bars that hooks the pot to the ground with your legs, and you are able to use your 2 hands, but here you can't do that. You don't have the luxury for that. You have to use 1 hand to hold the pot and 1 hand to stir. So now I'll start stirring and pushing the banku towards me, pressing it against the pot to take care of any lumps that may be forming. Oops, some just fell down here. I'll let that go. So it's getting harder to do, but we'll eventually get there. So now that I know I have a smooth texture, It's smooth right now. So what I can do is to cover again and let it continue to cook so that the steam would cook it very well. At this stage, it's advisable to lower the heat a little bit to about a medium high and then cover and let it cook for about 5 minutes. So after 5 minutes of boiling here, see it's getting thicker now. So I'll continue my process of stirring and moving it towards me. The 5 minutes is up. So at this stage, if you like your banku at this thickness, that should be okay. But I want to add a little water here. This is the hot water that was there. Stir it around. All looks good. I think I need a little more water. It's about 1/4 of a cup. I'll stir around until all this water is absorbed into the big bowl here. I have some cold water here that I'm dipping my hands in. This is looking good. So after the water is well mixed up, I think I'm going to cover it again. It's all smooth now, and I think I like this consistency. You can do it this way if you don't like using your hands. And I'll cover this for 10 minutes, and I think that should be cover and let it steam for 10 more minutes, and that should be okay. After another 10 minutes of making this cook, I think it's ready now. I'll stir it. Oh, that looks good. So this is ready to go. I have some water and a little cup here with a round bottom to use. So I'm going to cut. So depending on the sizes you want, you can cut smaller sizes or bigger sizes. You put it in here and swirl it around till you get a round ball. Then you put it in here and you repeat the process. You have to soak this cup in water, and this ladle is already in water, and cut a reasonable piece. Swirl around. Great to use a calabash, but I don't have one. Put it in here. Repeat the process again. So I'll continue doing this till all the banku from the pot is done. Then I show you how to put it all together. There you have the finished product banku with okra stew. I have one little bowl here that I'll take and add some fish and okra, like the tail and the head as well, but I'll take only the tail for now. But this is not as spicy as I want it, so I'm going to add some habanero, ground habanero pepper before I eat. So this is the finished product, banku with okra stew. Banku with okra stew.